You said.
No.
Always carry. Because I can't hear them here and I always.
All right, the Red Bank zoning board of adjustment will come to order this 20th day of March. Time is 6:40. Roll call.
Ann Torrey,
Yes.
Ray Mack,
Here.
Eileen Hogan,
Yes.
Benny Euro,
Here.
Karen Lee,
Here.
Vincent Light,
Here.
Tom Piagna,
Present.
and Anna Cruz.
Here.
Amanda Califano, absent. Eugene Horowitz,
Here.
and Chris Havens.
Here.
Adequate notice of this meeting is posted to Borough Hall, filed with the Borough Clerk and mailed to the Asbury Park Press 2 times. This meeting is being tape recorded, and in the event the applicant uses the service of a court reporter to transcribe the tapes, the board requires a copy of the transcript. We'll break about 8 p.m. for deliberation. Testimony heard thus far in the conference room on the first floor. Public is invited to attend. However, discussion between board members and the public is not permitted at that time. No new cases will be heard after 9 p.m. The Bank Zoning Board of Adjustments maintain a policy cutoff hour at 9:30 p.m. for its hearings. Any applicant not heard this evening will be carried over to the next scheduled meeting. Pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we have a few administrative matters. We have the meetings from February 20th. Somebody like to make a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We have a couple of resolutions. Resolution of approval, 211 Shrewsbury Avenue.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. That was the Parker Family Health Clinic sign application. Fairly straightforward application. The board approved a request to install 2 wall signs at the site. And the only conditions of note were neither wall sign is illuminated and the wall signs, Shauna, shall not be placed over the canopy. And no third-party advertising. That is pretty standard. If that's acceptable, we can adopt that.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve. Second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye. Okay, we have a resolution approval for 204 Shrewsbury Avenue.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, this was the, what was not necessarily submitted, and this is Spruce Liquor's application. And it wasn't necessarily submitted as a bifurcated application, but it turned into a bifurcated application. And this is just a use variance. And by the way, I have in here that the board engaged in a very extensive and intense good faith debate, which, by the way, is what you all are supposed to do. And it really was a picture perfect hearing of the give and take. But basically, we commented that the people who ultimately voted against the use variance were concerned about the size of the proposed liquor store, and that because of that size, it was not permitted use. Concerned that it could it was not consistent with the or violate the spirit and intent of the small business, the viability of other small businesses. Concerned that there would be a detrimental impact on the community. A concern that there's a lot more productive uses that could have been proposed. And then the other side included a bunch of arguments, including the fact that that building already exists and it's already oversized, and that there's no real new exterior construction proposed. And that we think that it would be, under the circumstances, unproductive and burdensome to require an applicant to demolish a portion of the existing building just to make it comply with the size requirements under those circumstances. And recognition that the site is rather sparse with only a building and a vacant large front yard parking area, and the absence of any significant landscaping, and that the building is rather nondescript, and that with approval, there will be some architectural enhancements, there'll be parking lot improvements, there'll be the property has been vacant for approximately 5 years and currently stagnant and underutilized site is probably not the best for the neighborhood. And we're also talked about that though there were some legitimate concerns about the wholesomeness of the proposed liquor store use, the board notes that the applicant's other existing liquor store is right across the street. So we basically said that in a nutshell, all those, I think I just want to read this because I liked what I said. I said all the above factors, both pro and con, represented legitimate arguments. And they were all appropriately considered, analyzed, and debated. And they were all prioritized according to the personal preferences and beliefs of each and every board member. And that's the way it's supposed to be. And anyway, in a nutshell, we had a couple of real concerns that I'll be quickly just to get them all. Obviously, they have to come back for the site plan portion of the application. There's no guarantee. And we said that they, let's see, they're not going to simultaneously operate the two liquor stores. And so we had the size that they're not going to exceed. They're not going to have more than 3 employees at the site. Their hours of operation not going to exceed 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. unless municipal regulations require something less. They're going to have a private hauler, no outside storage of materials or cardboard, private hauler. They're going to have lower level plantings along Shrewsbury Avenue provided Monmouth County so allows. Additional landscape and the details will be finalized during our hearing, site plan hearing, downward facing lighting. Sean, I want to make sure I have this right. Confirmation that the front windows of the liquor store facing Shrewsbury Avenue shall be frosted glass, the details of which shall be further reviewed and approved during the site plan portion. I think that was pretty much it, right? And then sign lighting will be turned off when the liquor store is not open. EV parking spaces, the awning projecting into the driveway is going to be illuminated. The absence of window posters and clutter and pollution, the absence of any neon signs, confirmation that the 2 existing curb cuts along Shrewsbury Avenue will be eliminated. And they're going to reorient the parking lot in good faith consultation with our engineer. And Mr. Chairman, this, I think you had a concern. I had said confirmation that in good faith consultation with the board engineer, the overwhelming majority of the existing front parking lot spaces shall be eliminated, the details of which will be confirmed during the public hearing. And then I wrote in there, per the on the record discussion at the public hearing, the board recognizes that 1 handicap parking space may be required to be retained in the front of the space. Now, we'll come back to that in 1 second, because I think you maybe want, at a minimum, order that down and maybe just eliminate it. And then the other confirmation that the existing front parking lot shall be perpetually converted to a lawn area with landscaping planted therein. Again, the details of which will be reviewed and approved at the site plan. And let's see, I think we had that, just a couple more quick ones, because I know this was important to some of you. We're going to have the applicant shall adopt and strictly enforce an aggressive anti-loitering policy, particularly in light of the non-permitted nature of the within use. And a copy of that anti-loitering policy shall be submitted to Shauna. And they're also going to give us, Eileen, I think we want an illustrated CD rendering of what the to be renovated building is going to look like. And that Chris, I think we have here, that the applicant in good faith aggressively and perpetually patrols the development site so as to regularly collect garbage and debris left by customers of the liquor store approved herein. So that was long, but it was a long hearing, a lot going on. This is just to approve the use variance with the understanding that they come back. No guarantee as to the future, and they still have a lot, but we sort of laid out the track record of what some of your concerns were. So, Mr. Chairman, I think about that one thing about, should I say the part, even the ADA spot cannot be in front, or should I say?
Leave it open until.
Okay.
Leave it open until we get a
Got
final
it.
plan for them.
Perfect. So we reserve all our rights. I'll just make that very clear.
Someone like to make a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Well, we were voting, Sarah and I voted.
Sharon-
And
Oh, yes, no, the
you can make comments,
comments,
but ultimately
you can't
cannot vote
Yeah.
on this resolution.
Okay.
Comment? No? I just wanted to thank the officer, our zoning board, my board members, for giving our business owners and residents lots of options and opportunities to make it a better fit for the neighborhood. And I want to thank each and every one of you for your ideas because they all will make that better fit. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Ms.
you.
Lee. Okay, new business, we have 30 St. Nicholas Place. Come on up.
Okay, and as the applicant team comes forward, we'll just do a couple of preliminary things. Is there anyone here who had any questions, comments, or concerns regarding the sufficiency of the notice they received? All right, we don't see any. The board secretary and I reviewed the notice and found everything to be in order, so it would be my humble opinion that we have jurisdiction to proceed tonight. And we have a couple of things to mark into the record. So we're gonna mark as A1, the development permit application, and zoning denial letter dated December 28, 2024. We'll collectively mark that as A1. A2 is the intent to proceed dated January 14th, 2025. A3 are the plans for the proposed rear addition. And we'll mark that as A3. And A4 is the review memorandum from Shauna Ebanks, our Director of Community Development. And speaking of our Director of Community Development, Shauna, do you swear that the information and testimony you're about to provide, to the extent you provide any, will be the truth, the best of your knowledge, to help you God?
I do.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Chairman, I understand we have some interpreters here today?
Yes.
Okay. And you're going to interpret for whom?
We don't have a name.
Wait, I don't think she came.
Oh,
I
okay,
don't think they came.
Based on our assessment, our services aren't needed just yet.
okay,
We don't have a name.
okay. Well, thank you for coming anyway. And then if something changes between now, we'll just stop and get you sworn in. All right, good evening. If you could just state your name, please.
Mike Falzarano, property owner,
You could drag it closer to you.
Okay,
and Daniel Kelly, architect.
okay. And Dan, if you could just give me your business address.
36 Taylor Terrace, Colonia, New Jersey.
Okay, and you are a licensed architect and your licenses and certifications are current and up to date and good standing?
I am a 22181 license member, and I'm also an AIA member in good standing.
Thank you very much. And then, so if you could both raise your right hands. Gentlemen, do you swear that the information and testimony you're about to provide will be the truth, the best of your knowledge, to help you God?
I do.
Okay, let the record reflect that both gentlemen have been sworn. Thank you. And then just to get the ball rolling, Mr. Falzarano, you indicated you're the property owner?
Yes, that's correct.
And how long have you owned it, roughly?
Over 2 years.
Okay, and my notes reflect that there's a single family home at the site?
Correct.
All right, and do you live there?
Yes.
Okay, and just for the record, the existing home, my notes suggest it's a 1.5 story home?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, and how many bedrooms?
5.
And how many bathrooms?
2.5.
Okay, and so you want to propose an addition, so why don't you talk to the board about whether you want to tell what you want to do and why, or you want your architect to tell?
Sure. I can give a quick summary and then feel free to jump in here, but looking to build just a single room addition, 1 floor off the rear of the property for extra living space. My family is expanding a bit. My wife's actually due to give birth to our second in 5 weeks. So hoping to kind of solidify our roots here and have a slightly bigger space for my family to live and grow in Red Bank. So that's the proposal. It's a living room addition, so we're using it in that capacity.
Okay, Mr. Kelly, do you have anything to add from an architectural standpoint?
Yes, so the proposed addition is currently 225 square foot new. And this would be going on top of the rear patio. So the good part about this proposal is it's not going to increase the impervious coverage. The impervious coverage will remain as is, and the pavers underneath the addition will obviously be removed from the new addition. Also, it's complying with the rear yard setback as well as the side yard setbacks. Max building coverage is also in compliance, and even though there are many non-conforming parts of this project, all of what we have designed for this simple rear addition are compliant with setbacks, with the building coverage and the impervious coverage.
You know, and Mr. Chairman, could I just ask our friend Shauna a question? Shauna, as I understand it, this lot is undersized and there's a provision in our ordinance which allows for the expansion of this under certain circumstances?
Yes, that's correct. So, in the ordinance, it calls for single-family homes and two-family homes to be exempt, based on meeting certain criteria, conditions. One of the condition for expansion of, a non-conforming structure is that first, it has to be on a conforming lot, and the second is that it has to be solely in the rear or in the side. And not exceeding, if it's the setbacks, the side yard setbacks are not conforming, not being greater, than what the existing non-conforming setbacks are. Unfortunately, for the applicant, the lot size is non-conforming by 250 square feet. And so therefore, he didn't meet the first condition of being on a non-conforming lot. Therefore, it triggered the need for a bulk variance for expansion of a non-conforming structure.
And so regardless of the size or the location, just by virtue of the fact that it's a non-conforming lot in terms of area,
That
he
is
has to
correct.
come here.
Yes.
Any questions for either of these gentlemen from the board?
Yes. It's too small. What are the colors and materials of the addition? Can you describe it?
We are planning on using lap siding,
I'm sorry, what was that?
a horizontal lap siding to match the existing as close as possible. The roof will be a low pitch, single membrane roof because it doesn't have the steep enough pitch to just have shingle. It has to be a membrane pitch to prevent leaks on the inside. So that's it. It's just going to match the existing.
I have a couple of questions. First, I wasn't able to review the memorandum that lays out anything about setbacks. I think you said, does this conform with the setbacks? Or are there variances needed for setbacks
Right.
as well as the bulk variance for the non-conforming use?
So the main trigger, as Shauna mentioned, is the lot area, which we are undersized for.
Right.
6,500 is the required, we're at 6,250. The front yard is existing non-conforming, but we're not working on the front.
Right.
Rear yard is existing 60 foot 8 inches, and this is the RA zone, which is 30 feet is required. We are proposing 45 foot 6 inches, which would be compliant.
Right.
Side yards are 12 feet and then combined is 30 feet. So the existing first house right now is 5.2 feet, which is existing non-conforming.
Right.
And the combined is 17 feet, which is again existing non-conforming. However, the addition that we are proposing is compliant with the one side yard setback. And that is in compliance.
Okay.
So,
My one other question is on a different trajectory is, have you heard from any neighbors? Has anybody talked to you about it?
No, none of my neighbors have reached out. Anytime I've done projects in the neighborhood, they're all very supportive.
So no one certainly has objected to
Yeah,
this?
nobody's objected.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions from the board?
Yes, I have a question. Did I see a garage in the backyard? Is that,
Yes, that's correct.
okay, so how far away will the garage sit as opposed to the new room?
I don't think we have the exact measurements there, but I mean, we can certainly kind of.
Oh, that's fine.
5 feet would be.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
No more questions from the board. Any questions from the public for either of these gentlemen? Okay, close the public portion. Any comments from the board about this application? Okay, any comments from the public on this application? I don't see any. No, you're good, okay. So, would anybody like to make a motion to approve or deny this application?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
second.
And Mr. Chairman, the standard conditions of approval, if I may, would include compliance with all the promises, commitments, and representations the team made tonight. Compliance with any applicable affordable housing rules, regulations, contributions, if any, obtaining any necessary outside approvals. We usually have a 24-month time frame after the resolution. You have to get the building permit within 24 months or any agreed upon extension and get building permits, compliance with Shauna's memo. And Shauna, you had asked about just, do I have to do anything about lighting or utility connections, or you just wanted to just?
No, because it's a part of the
Got it.
existing house.
Okay, so if those conditions are acceptable to the motioner and the seconder, we can vote.
Sorry, that's me. Ann Torrey,
Yes.
Raymond Mass.
Yes.
Ellie Hogan.
Yes.
Benny Euro.
Yeah.
Sharon Lee.
Yes.
Vincent Lane.
Yes.
Paul Diagno.
Yes.
Great, 7 members.
Good luck.
Yeah. We're done.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nice.